Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel Learning English with Hamid. We continue with our series on tenses, and as part of that series today we do the present perfect tense. So let's start. The present perfect tense, we study the formation first. Of course we have the subject and we have two auxiliaries here. So we have and has, and then the verb and past participle form of the verb. Past participle form is also called the third form of the verb. So if the subject is I or we, you, they, so we use have as the auxiliary, and if the subject is he, she or it, then the auxiliary used is, for example, I have locked the door. I have locked the door. So you see here the subject is I, so we say have.
Oh wow, I did it. Oh, I did it. This fixes everything. Yes, I have brought down this mighty beast.
Another example is we have locked the door. You have locked the door. They have locked the door. Have.
That's what you're worried about? Not the people you almost killed?
He was just protecting me. He's not dangerous.
They killed hundreds of us!
And we've killed thousands of them. They defend themselves.
Moving on, if the subject is he, so he has locked the door, she has locked the door, and she has unlocked the door, and it has unlocked the door.
The reflection has changed a bit.
So have with I, we, you, they, and has with he, she, it. So these are positive sentences. Now negative and interrogative sentences on this part of the board. So I'm sure you know the general rule. We have discussed it already when we were doing the present simple and the present continuous tenses. So I'm sure you have watched that. If you haven't watched that, watch that as well. So how do we make negative sentences? Well, the general rule is use not after the auxiliary. So here the auxiliary is have or has, just put not after that. So the rule is given here, use not after the auxiliary, which is have or has. So for example, the boys have arrived. So the negative is the boys have not arrived yet. So you see here we have not after the auxiliary have. She has not arrived. She has not cooked the meal. So have not and has not. And as far as interrogative sentences are concerned, again the general rule is whatever the auxiliary is in the sentence, bring that to the beginning of the sentence. So here we have two, have, has, two auxiliaries, just bring that to the beginning of the sentence. So for example, I have watched the video. Have you watched the video? I have done many videos on tenses. Have you watched those videos? For example, I'm asking you. So have you watched those videos, or have you watched that video? So you see here, have you.
We're passengers! Passengers!
Have you been through the inspection queue?
Of course. Anyway, we don't have any license. We're Americans.
Have you, have they, have I, have we, for example. And if the subject is he, she, it, then has she or has it or has he, for example. So has she come back, for example. You ask someone, has she come back? So you see, has used in the beginning of the sentence to make the sentence interrogative. Next, we discuss a few more points and then the usage of this tense. Now, if we have a WH word, for example, how or W or when or who, so we use these words before the auxiliary, and the auxiliary is either have or has. So if the subject is I, we, you, they, the auxiliary is have. If the subject is he, she, it, so auxiliary is have, has. So we say, what have you done? So you see here, what is used before have.
Elsa, what have you done? This is getting out of hand.
Where have you put it, for example? Or how has he done it? So we don't say how he has done it. How, when, where, why are used before the auxiliary. Now some uses of this tense. So the first usage is we use this tense to talk about a finished action in the present.
I've worn lots of shoes.
For example, I ask you about one of my videos. Have you watched my video on the present simple, for example? You say, yes, I have watched that video. I have watched that video. So you talk about a finished action in the present. That's the first usage. The second usage is we use this tense to talk about a recent finished action. Like here, we said that we use this tense to talk about a finished action in the present, but maybe you did that action, let's say 10 days ago, for example. But here we talk about we use this tense to talk about an action which has just been finished, recently been finished. For example, I have this marker and I put it in my pocket, for example. I have just put the marker in my pocket, for example. So we use just in these kind of sentences.
But here, excuse me, dearie. Huh? Are you looking for the darky fella with the beard and the bandage round his head?
Yes, certainly.
He's just gone behind those curtains.
Or if, for example, I have taken out the markers from my pocket, I have just taken them out. I've just taken them from my pocket. Just is used with these sentences. They have just left, for example. The third usage is use this tense to talk about a past action, but it is still continuing. Which still continues to the present, and we use since or for with it. For example, you talk about your friend that I have known him for 3 years, for example. I have known them for 5 years. It means this knowing process is complete, and you did it for 3 years, for example, or 4 years. I have known him for 3 years, and I'll know him for some more years, of course, in the future as well. And we have lived here for 3 years, for 10 years, for 5 years. Or I have lived here since 2020, for example.
Let them go, Shenzi! They made a mistake! A horrible mistake! But if you do this, you will start a war with Mufasa!
Hyena's alliance have been at war since the beginning of time. But Mufasa...
So we use this tense for this action as well. We might discuss a few more points about this tense in our next video. So that's it for today. Before we leave, please like, share and subscribe to my channel and come back for more videos. See you.